You've got to laugh. I've just done a 10-minute video on paying attention, and I've only just noticed I hadn't pressed the record button. Touché. What I was babbling on about in the woods here on this perfect morning. I'll just do a twirl so that you can see how perfect it is, and you can hear the birds as well instead of me tweeting. I was pointing out that whatever we pay attention to then leads to intention. There are lots of stumps in this managed plantation, 70-acre plantation, and of course you pay attention to them so as not to trip over them. But just on this path behind me, which is my daily walk, the other day I paid attention and counted them, and there are 52 stumps to avoid. But of course we take it in our stride, literally. So I was saying that one of my favourite online teachers, non-dual teachers, Rupert Spira, I'm sure you've come across him. He visited John last summer, actually. Very lovely man, as you can imagine. And yesterday, he does a daily sort of thought for the day email, which I like, on really what our true nature is peace and happiness, which is a bit of a jump, I think, for most of us. Our true nature seems to be stubbing our toes on the stumps rather than peace and happiness, recognising them. Yesterday's was careful what you believe, I paraphrase, because our beliefs colour, infuse, inflate, if you like, the reality that we experience. So I'm sure many authors have put it differently, along the lines of create the life you imagine. Oh, that's the subtitle of my book, Future Perfect, creating the life you want. Well, this is the life I want, a tiny house in the Derbyshire Dales, so there must be something in it. But he was pointing out that if we believe ourselves to be separate little me's, separate entities bounded by a bag of skin and bones, that's how we'll experience life. But now this is the challenging bit. He would say it's just a belief. Now, I don't know about you, but if I'm sitting in my tiny house with my morning cup of tea and bagels, it feels very me, very physically separate. Taking that leap of belief, if you like, I am not my physical body, I am not my organs, my bag of bones. It's a big, well, I believe, see, this is very interesting, catch-22. If that's what I believe, it's a big jump to saying we are nothing but consciousness, nothing but sharing in the divine consciousness, the divine I am. If I believe it's a big leap, then it is. Oh dear. So, the question then is, do we actually sort of train our thoughts, train our mind, train our beliefs about the true nature of reality? I'm investigating this as a detectorist of consciousness. So it's important to me to find out about this for my new book, Mistaken Identity. Why you are not who you think you are. Well, who are you then? Well, that's what I'm on the trail of here in the woods. and writing this book. Yesterday I filled in the delegate details. I'm going to the Realisation Festival in a stately pile in Dorset, the Earl of Shaftesbury's place, St Giles, I'm very excited about it. Ian McGilchrist, author of the massive 2-volume The Matter with Things, will be there, and others to talk about such matters as consciousness. So I'm looking forward to that. And they ask you to put a sort of a brief biog for the delegate list. And I found myself putting, I am a detectorist of consciousness researching for my next book, Mistaken Identity. Well, I look forward to the conversations around the table, the lunch table that emanates from that. Attention is followed by intention. In my world anyway, whatever you pay your attention to informs your intentions and the way you act in the world. And without being too philosophical about it, my daily walk in the woods now, where I pay attention to the birds, and I learned to distinguish between a wren and a thrush this morning. I was very pleased with myself. I don't think the birds were impressed. My daily attention of listening to the birds, speaking to the trees. I've got my favourite trees, ask them for advice. They've been here longer than me, they probably know better. It is affecting my intention of how to live more simply, more connected to nature, and hopefully more at peace. There's lots, if you pay attention to, in the news of course, there's an awful lot that you could pay attention to that disturbs peace, and I'm not advocating, shall we say, ignorance or avoidance, but I am advocating that you move towards what you pay your attention to, and I'm moving towards my breakfast in the tiny house. Catch you later.